Hey, Cookie Crew, welcome to the Cookie Effect Podcast. I'm your girl, Cookie Effect. Hope you guys are doing great today. Hope this reaches you in good spirits, and I hope you and your family members are doing great. Thank you so much, everybody who listened to my previous podcast, my last podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I had a lot of feedback from a lot of people saying they enjoyed that podcast. Um, are you emotionally dependent on others? Yes, that was a huge topic. So shouts out to every single person who listened and those it resonated with. I hope that this part two will also help um, with your journey of trying to be less emotionally dependent on people. All right, now, so the topic of today is 4 ways that you can stop being emotionally dependent on others. All right, we already established that being emotionally dependent on others is a really, really bad thing. It is a very insecure thing to do, in my opinion, because see, I was once a person who lived her life dependent, like I gave others the power emotionally. So their actions towards me determined my mood, determined how I was going to react, determined how I was going to act. I had no control of my emotions. And I find that a lot of people have this problem, but a lot of people are also ashamed to admit that they do emotionally depend on others way too much. I mean, it's okay when you have people you trust, and you can depend on them, whether it be your family, your partner, your kids, your whatever, your best friend. But I'm speaking on those who just anyone you meet, anyone you connect to, anyone you like, you tend to just allow them that power to control you. So today I wanted to talk about 4 ways that has helped me slowly take back that emotional power I was given to others. It helped me 4 ways to help you stop being emotionally dependent. Okay. All right. So this is in no particular order, right? So for me, it was a process. And the number one thing I can say is you have to admit, you have to come to the realization about yourself. Meaning you have to look yourself in the mirror in your own quiet time, deep down in yourself. Be honest with yourself and admit that, you know what? I can be emotionally too dependent on others, and that doesn't make me feel good. And that has affected my life. And I want to stop. That's the first step. The first step of healing anything or resolving anything is first admitting that you have a problem or there's an issue or whatever the case may be. So, yes, I had to look at myself and say, hey, you're too emotionally dependent on others. So, whatever someone says about you, you react. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, you react. But in my case, it was always bad. It was always reacting in a bad way, in a not so good way, in an angry way. And that takes a toll on your body because you're constantly annoyed. You're constantly trying to please everyone. You're constantly putting others first and putting yourself last. That's not a way to live. That's not a place you want to be. You deserve all of that energy. You deserve to pour into yourself just as much as you pour into others. You deserve to trust yourself. so that you don't have to give the power to others. Okay? So number one is admitting that you have a problem. Number two, I would say, was me having to then figure out why I tend to be so emotionally dependent on others. So I had to think, now that I know that there's a problem, and me being this way is not making me feel good anymore. Because before, when I did it, before I was aware, before, I was woke, I didn't realize that that was a bad thing. It was a thing that was bringing me down. It was not good for me to be like that. So once you realize that it doesn't give you the joy that it used to be, it's now a hindrance and a burden, then you have to deal with it. So I had to really, through talking to my counselor and things like that, I came to the realization that it stems from my childhood. Things that have happened to me as a child, unfortunately, unfortunate things that no child should ever deal with. Those things happened to me as a child, and I believe my insecurity within myself stemmed from that. And so I went through the years just so dependent on my friends, because I felt like they're all I had. I felt like I needed to belong because I was alone, because I just didn't trust anyone. I just needed people. And as you get older and more dependent on people, you realize that friendships break up. People leave you. People show you their true colors. People make you realize, you know what? Damn, I gave this person all of me, and come to find out they didn't even really like me. Or they're talking bad about me when they're not in front of me, And you start realizing the people you thought liked you don't like you. And you start feeling really, shitty about yourself. You start questioning who you are. You start feeling, not worthy and just insecure, emotionally drained, because now the person you put all that trust in and the person you were emotionally so dependent on, something happened and now you guys are no longer friends. Then what? Then what happens there? Then you're stuck. What do you do with all of that? How are you going to survive? You must understand that you are your own security blanket. Only you can protect yourself. Nobody could protect you better than you could protect yourself, your heart, your soul, your spirit, your energy. So at the end of the day, it's important to dig deep and find out where your issues stem from. Because to get to the root of the problem, you got to go all the way back to figure out how it started and then work your way up. So number one is coming to that realization and admitting to yourself, not anybody else. This is all about self-growth, your self-growth. It's got nothing to do with others. Nobody has a right to ask you how your growth, how you're supposed, or tell you how you're supposed to grow. So number one, admit it to yourself. Number two, dig deep. Soul search. Maybe even go to a counselor, because that helped me. Go to a counselor. Talk to a counselor who can then help you trace it back. And 9 times out of 10, you will realize that there's something within your past that has happened to you, whether it be traumatic, whether it be, whatever, an accident, whether it be just situation that happened with you or with you and somebody else, or whatever, you realize that it came from somewhere. And once you get that realization and you figured out where it comes from, that's where you start getting the sense of, I'm not beating myself up anymore. Okay, I'm not weird. Okay, it's, yeah, although this is a bad habit that I've got, dependent on others emotionally, too dependent, at least I know why I do what I do and why I need people so much. We have to educate ourselves on how to take care of ourselves. You understand? Usually people spend time figuring out how to take care of others. And we forget that we need to start to figure out how to take care of ourselves. In order to figure out how to take care of yourself, you need to understand who you are, what makes you tick, what you like, what you don't like, what this, what that about you. Only you can figure that out. Nobody can tell you about you. Okay? So that's number 2. Dig deep, find out the root cause, and then we move on. Number 3, the third thing I did to start stopping myself being emotionally dependent on others was, for me, one of the biggest struggles of mine was dependent, needing people's, needing people to co-sign me, needing people to uplift me, needing people to affirm me, needing people to encourage me, needing people to validate what I was doing or what I wasn't doing, or just needing people, because I trusted people way too much. I gave the wrong people way too much trust of myself. I tell them everything about me. I'm so open, and then it backfires. Okay? Now they have so much on you that you're so scared to leave them or burn any bridges, because you're scared that they're going to, use those things against you. So you're so dependent on them, on what they say. So if they say to you, oh, you're thinking of doing that? Nah, I wouldn't do that if I were you. Even though you really want to do that and it makes sense to you to do whatever it is you wanted to do. But because you validate this person so much, you lift this person so up, you're emotionally dependent on whatever this person says to you more than your own self. Then you go with what they say. Okay, maybe I'm not good enough for that. I won't do it. That used to be me. Doubt myself. But as soon as somebody else says, oh, I think you could do that, because I know I could do it, but I don't believe I could do it because I didn't believe in myself. So the third thing is finally understanding that not everyone is supposed to like you, or like what you do, or like who you are, or like how you dress, or like how you speak, or like how you breathe. People are not obligated to care about you. That's harsh, I know. Not even family, yo. Not even family. But once you realize and accept that, once the shock factor of going, oh, damn. They don't have to like your stuff. They don't have to like your podcast, Cooks. It doesn't mean your podcast is bad. It doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. They don't have to like your posts. They don't have to like your pictures. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is wrong. They just don't like it. It's not their cup of tea. And that's okay. It's so funny now, because before I couldn't laugh at that. I'd be like, why don't they like it? They need to like it. Why? I'm a good person. Why don't this like, who cares, girl? Who cares if they like you or not? Ew. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the third thing. Finally, allowing yourself understand and accept. People don't have to like you or anything like that. Once you do that, there's a sense of relief. There's a sense of vulnerability, yes, but there's also a sense of relief that, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do me. I'm going to live my life the way I want. I'm going to pursue whatever career I want to pursue. I'm going to wear whatever I want to wear. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to live this life YOLO. I'm going to live this life YOLO. Those who like you will be there. Those who don't, won't. Why should somebody else make you feel like you're not good enough to achieve, accomplish, or be who you want to be? Does that make sense to you? And all they have to do, you don't know their intentions. They might be jealous of you. So they say things to make you question yourself. Not everybody has good intentions for you. And they could be blood. Jealousy is a huge, disgusting disease. And a lot of people have it. A lot of us get jealous, but it's how and why. So the fourth way that I use to try to be less emotionally dependent on others, the fourth thing that I feel that is very important and that helped me was stop trusting everyone with knowing every single thing about you. It's okay to be an open book, but also have control, self-worth, protect certain parts of you, certain parts of your story. Because you do not know the other person's intentions. They're sitting there smiling. People are very great actors nowadays. A person could literally sit there, smile up in your face, but they cannot stand you because the world is full of fake people. Don't be fooled. So, take back your emotional powers. Don't over give information. And that's something I am still learning and I struggle with because I'm very open and very honest, but it hasn't always been good for me in how things have transpired in my life. Okay? So now those people that I overindulged in and overtold everything, where are they now? They're no longer in my life, but they know everything about me though. Who knows what they're doing with that information? Good, bad, or indifferent. You feel me? So you never know. So always be mindful of how much you share and to who you share it with. Be okay with who you are and trusting in yourself. Be okay with being your own best friend. Be okay with knowing that only you can protect you better than anyone else could in this world. Because you love yourself. Because you care about yourself. You came into this world alone. You're going to leave alone. So how could you not depend on yourself and your feelings and your thoughts and, your gut? I'm not saying do not trust anyone. All I'm saying is know the people you trust. Know the people you give your emotional powers to, your emotional energy to. Know the people you put on a pedestal and you look up to. And last but not least, continue looking within yourself and growing. And if you're stuck or you don't know how to grow or what to do to help yourself, when you feel that you're alone and you don't have anybody, try to talk to a counselor. Try to go get help. There's so many available groups that you could join. There's so many available charities. There's so many available options. If you go to your Citizens Advice, they will advise you. If you Google, use the internet. But it's okay to go talk to a professional who will help you professionally in a safe way get yourself back on track. Guys and girls, I hope this resonated with you in a positive way. Thank you all so much for supporting the Cookie Effect podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. I see you. I appreciate you. Please like and share. Leave your reviews. Leave your comments. Follow me on my Instagram. It's at Cookie Effect Podcast. I truly appreciate you guys' support. Have a great week. Until next time, Cookie Crew. I'm your girl, Cookie, Miss Capricorn, Miss Tell It Like It Is, Cookie Crew. Peace.